So, my Lohan bow. All right. So, Buddha Z here. Yeah. Yay. Yahoo. All right. Anyway, let's continue. Today's podcast. We are inside this book. We are in another dimension. We are in our mind. Okay, so this is it. This is a book by me, Buddha Z, and this is not my first book, but anyway, this is Four Noble Truths Explained by Buddha Z. Okay, and this is one of 8 books. Book number 1, The Original Buddhism of India, Siddhartha Gautama. Okay, so anyway, today's podcast, that's just table of contents. That's it. I'll let you go. Let me go. All right, table of contents. I'm on, it looks like we're using Roman numerals. This is a whole discussion I could have. Being the publisher, editor, author, and everything all in one, it's really a drag. Because all I can do is ask myself for advice. I got nobody else. I have no conflicting ideas. So anyway, point being, this topic of the content, well, editing, everything. I want some help. All I need is money. I'll hire people. I'm sure I can find people. I'm sure a lot of people want to help me if I give them money. So that's my whole problem. I'm not giving myself any money either, so don't feel bad. When I can pay myself, get a new car, pay my rent. So when I get more money, I'll get a new car. Then I'll start hiring you guys. Well, maybe not you or you, but maybe you, way over there. So anyway, maybe some of you people I'll hire. I don't know, whatever the going rates are. I got to pay somebody to do some proofreading here. So, but anyway, the point being is I was the editor. Here we go. Contents. Ready? 8-book series. Oh, point of that diversion was the Roman numerals. I am actually experimenting on some of my books. I start with the very title page, the cover page, the very first thing you see when you open the book, if there's not a blank page. The first page is number 1. So, and that's not typical. That's not normal. Usually you have Roman numerals for the foreword and the contents and the dedication, like I did with this one. Properly made book. But I'm actually saying, why go from 1 to 30 and then start at 1, which is where the book starts, which is logical reason. If the real book starts on page 1, and then you do that, but then what do you do for the epilogue and all the other pages at the end? You don't use Roman numerals, I don't think, for those. We always just continue the page count, you see. So we've already distorted the accurate page count of the book. So anyway, I'm messing with some of my books. Number 1, Roman numeral starts, right there in page 1. Here we go. But we're looking at Roman numeral 8 right now. And we're looking at the 8-book series, which is what this is. There's a photo of BZ. BZ will always be me, Buddha Z. And this is at CV Park Canyon with glasses. Canyon or mountains? Maybe mountains would be more accurate. CV Park, it says canyon. Well, there were canyons. There are canyons between the mountains. CV Park, I don't know. I'll have a mountains with glasses. Okay. Because I was going up more than I was going down. You go there, you go up. Okay, here we go. Also by Buddha Z. There's a copyright page, a dedication, which we read last podcast, and the contents, which is where we are right now. There's a photo of me playing flute. Well, I haven't seen it yet, but that's coming up next podcast, I guess. And Buddha Z is a Buddhist rapper. Okay, we'll have that discussion again, I guess. Okay, and then the actual page count. Look, it looks like when I originally made this book, I did it, I guess, the right way. So the book starts here on page 1. Origin of Suffering, part 1. And, so it looks like what I have done now is I have listed out the poems. Okay, there's not by chapters. These are all the individual poems now. So, real quickly, let's read the poems. This will give you a really interesting, I hope, interesting view of the future of your life, if you're going to hang with me here. Here we go. It looks like the first, page 1, the first poem is Origin of Suffering, part 1. Gary, I kicked the camera again. Okay, I'm adding excitement to your life. So, maybe I added a little thrill to your life. A little jolt. A lot of people like that. Commoners like that kind of thrill. They like to surprise you. They like surprises. Yeah. Don't surprise me. give me something. Give me tons of stuff, but don't surprise me with it. Just give it to me. All right, here we go. Where were we? So the poems. Okay, so let's just go through the list real quickly, and I might tell you a little bit about what some of them are about, and I might not. Here we go. I don't know. Haven't rehearsed this. Actually, I have. I think I actually did the audiobook for this. I haven't edited it yet, but I think I've recorded the audiobook for this book. But it was several years ago, so I don't remember. Here we go. Origin of Suffering, Part 1. And then Menudo Man. And that's about Trump, because Trump used to say back in his first term. Remember, this book was written during his first term. So Trump was president. So Menudo Man is about Trump because he thinks with his gut. And menudo is made with gut, I think. I've eaten it, but I've never ordered it. Well, if I did, it was a sample. But anyway, here we go. Meaning of Life. I love this poem. I think this is a classic. I should be famous for this poem, Meaning of Life. Genidus. Once again, it's a succinct. I think it's kind of cute. I actually wrote this in my poetry class at UCLA. And the only poetry class I ever attended. Buddhism is not a religion. Yeah, that was a good one. I was like hammering my audience. Come on, you guys, don't you understand? Golden rule is for murderers. Man, it's always funny to get people who have a little smaller brain saying, "What are you saying?" You know, and see their reaction. I must admit, I kind of enjoy that a little bit. But I always like to straighten them out. It only lets me know who the dumb people are, really. You know, so I just want to help them. Let me explain. Okay. But yeah, the Christian golden rule is for murdering people. That's what it validates murder. But the original golden rule, which existed, I don't know, a couple hundred years before that, was written by Confucius, was the opposite. The opposite does not allow you to murder people and get away with it. But the Christian one does. Okay, here we go. Sorry, getting carried away here. Selfish lust. A bit of my personal life, probably. I don't recall what it says, but I'm sure I'll remember when we get there. That's why I like a lot of my poetry. I would forget these stories and instances completely, 100%. No reason to ever remember any of this stuff. But then I read the poem and boom, all the imagery and the stuff around that event kind of opens up. So these poems are kind of neat in that sense. I don't know, obviously they don't work that way quite for you, but if they can resonate and remind you of a circumstance in your life, that's what a lot of music did to me. It reminded me of my girlfriend, not that guy's girlfriend he wrote it for. I didn't even know who it was. I don't care. But, you just kind of, it's a romantic song, and so you kind of portray it onto your own girlfriend. But where were we? Recreational animosity. Oh, yeah. Yeah, all these trollers. I was like, what were we talking about? Yeah, during Trump's time. But anyway, a lot of trolling going on now again. They're back. Where were we? That's how I'm peeing. Oh, that's a joke about me being a furry. Well, because I call myself the coyote, so I kind of took a little jaunt in imagination. And once again, this is one of the ones that I used to be able to work into this poem and do it and get some really concerned reactions from some of my elderly audience. Okay, here we go. Lockdown world. Now, this pisses me off. I don't know how to convey this, but that means, anyway. I mean, I can understand the anti-gun people, but then again, I'm not anti-gun. I agree. Maybe we don't need automatic weapons for hunting. And so maybe we don't need them for self-defense either. So I'm willing to go that far, but other than that, you keep all my guns, I'm a gun lover, but I don't have to have an automatic weapon, I really don't. I grew up with the Tommy gun being something that was only used by the mafia, so citizens never had access to an automatic weapon like they do now. So to me, it's not a loss because I never thought I could have one. Okay, so I'd say yeah. But anyway, this is about some women who want to get rid of all guns, and now I'm a gun lobbyist. You're gonna go that far? Don't take away my guns, but you can take away some of them. Okay, but I don't have any automatic weapons, so actually I got none. You can take. I don't have any guns right now, but if I did, I would. Well, forget that. Let's not talk about that now. But yeah, I never even shot with my kids or anything. Too bad. I had fun with guns when I was a kid. Anyway, where were we? Homeless asylum band. Oh, this is about somebody who you know and hopefully you don't like. But I'll specify when we do that poem who it's about, and you can decide whether you like them or not. I don't like them. But anyway, and then Lockdown World, then Tyrannosaurus Trumpticanus. Well, that's obviously about somebody. Life is better without my glasses on. And that's a little true story. It happened when I walked out of one of those rice places, teriyaki places. And I went back to my car and I came back, and this is what happened. I came back and then I wrote the poem. My friend was there. I said, just hold on a second. And I wrote the poem out, and then I told him what happened by reading him the poem. Okay, liars go to prison. Oh, this is very, very interesting. Shockingly interesting. Liars go to prison. I think if this is the one I'm thinking about. Very interesting. What is love? Yeah, now I got to remember I was doing a lot of open mic poetry readings for a while, so I got to see a lot of crappy poetry. Half the crappy poetry has love for a theme, and the other half has flowers. Okay, where were we? Again. Oh, I wrote that for a poetry competition. I don't think I won anything, but I was included in the contest because I met the criteria and they published it in a book. Love Doesn't Believe in Me. Yeah, that's kind of a cool song. I've never actually recorded it or sung it with a guitar. Something that I figured out how to it came out and I was just singing it solo. So that's a song that hasn't hit the ground yet. My Muscle Car. I enjoyed this. When we used to perform this one, men used to come up afterwards. Maybe a girl one time, and we'd talk about this. There's some of my songs that invoked some conversation between me and the audience, which was cool. Body Renting and Nasty Trump. Okay. Mother's Day Aftermath. Well, that's kind of real personal, as you'll see. Romantic Chaos. Oh, this is me laughing at teenage girls. Four Noble Truths Preview. The Book Return. Book Return is it's kind of sarcastic. It's kind of a weird metaphor. I don't know if it really works. Nobody's ever talked to me about it, but it made sense to me, this metaphor. Government salt. I don't know how far I went off on a tangent on this one. It's real simple that I think that salt is good for you, and a lot of people are afraid of it. Now, my doctor, I can tell you all this when we get there, but my current doctor, who's it's not Vietnamese, I think. Laotian, Cambodian. He's really a great doctor. I love my doctor. I like my doctor a lot. I started to say love, but it's not that I don't. It's just that I like him. I don't know him that well, but I like him a lot. Anyway, he's actually pushing me to eat more salt and consume more salt, and he's got this really amazing theory which he's testing on everybody. And I could go into this. Whenever I go in there, he tests my blood pressure 3 ways: lying down, sitting up, and standing up. And then he compares these to find out what my real blood pressure is. And then he also expects me to eat more salt so that I'll retain more water, which retains a higher blood pressure. But that just means that our heart can go easier, so it doesn't have to work so hard to make that higher blood pressure. Because the heart and high blood pressure problem comes from you having not enough fluid, like not enough air in your tires. And then you're pumping it up, trying to make that certain amount of air enough, and it's just not, anyway, it's not working. So in other words, you got to put more fluids in your body. You can't make your heart just work harder to increase your pressure, which is what high blood pressure usually is. But if you just drank some water, then your heart doesn't have to work so hard to maintain that pressure. Just like putting more air in your tire. You don't have to work so hard to have a motor in there creating more pressure. You could put more air in there and then just turn the motor off. See? So that's what the heart's doing. It's creating the pressure. And so anyway, it's something I'm still figuring out and learning. So I'm glad to have shared at least that much with you. And we can go into insulin resistance and stuff. I've learned all kinds of great health stuff. I'm always learning stuff every year. But here we go. Liars go to prison. Oh, yeah, those are the Republicans. I love okay, I got to skip down. Where were we? Government salt. Oh, that's right. I remember now. Cows run the farm. Yeah, well, 40% of you guys out there, if you're a accurate slice of society, are probably cattle. Moo. I can talk that language. I get along with my cat. So it's not like you have to be a genius to get along with me. It's just that unfortunately, if you're not a genius, there's probably not any use for you in my life. Okay, here we go. Just like this. I don't even remember what that is. Godfather of Poetry. I know who that is. That's a fun one. I see that, and I remember this whole story, his car, his van, my friend sitting outside, him and his truck, and his books and his tubs, and him preparing to do his reading, and me all ready to do mine, and just talking to him. I saw the whole scene. So that's why I like that poem. Anyway, this is a poem I wrote about this instance, and my friend Oscar was with me, so he's in the poem too. Okay, where were we? Father's Day, no women. Interesting way to say it, but I know that unfortunately I'm completely divorced, separated from my family, which I never thought would happen. So here we go. Liars or losers. Liars or losers. Got so many different perspectives on it. I'm not sure which one this is right now off the hand. Purposely sinking. Okay. Well, makes you think of something, but I actually don't remember exactly what I'm referring to. That's kind of exciting. I'm going to find out what that is too. Memory travel. I don't know what memory I'm going to put in there. That's going to be exciting too. Love doesn't work. Well, I've kind of proven that. What evidence did I provide in this poem? Where were we? Oprah Made Clear. Oh, I remember making that one. She put out this poetry book, and she had all kinds of famous people in there. Joe Biden was even in there, so I included him in my poem about that book. It's an interesting book. So that's me commenting on Oprah's poetry book. Inspirational book, whatever it was. Anyway, and then worship. I don't know. Am I being sarcastic with that one? We're going to have to find out. This is exciting. See, it's kind of exciting for me now to realize that some of these poems, I actually want to read them and see what they are now. Who's ahead? I remember kind of writing this one. I hope I pulled it off. Sometimes my metaphors involve like you're running in a race and you're against somebody else and this and that's happening. And I'm trying to put it in a bigger, I don't know if they all, anyway, this is one of those type of poems where I'm creating a metaphor for life, I think. We'll find out. Okay, psychedelic rock opera. Yeah, though this is a cool thing. And then you can see the next one, psychedelicrockopera.com. This is obviously written right when I was getting my website. You can actually go to that website, psychedelicrockopera.com. And these poems will go through the discovery or the ambition or the decision to actually even acquire that. Because it's like adopting a child. So these poems address my going into that. The Chaos of Ken Kesey. Now, I am one of the original hippies because I started dropping acid in 1966. Might have still been legal. I'm not sure. I think it became illegal in 65 or 66. So anyway, the point being is that I was part of that thing, and he was one of my heroes. I was part of we were part of a American clique, a gang, the hippies. And Ken Kesey was one of our leaders. But unfortunately, well, watch what I say about that. Excuse me. Make America better. Oh, all right, well. A cat named Bear. Cat. Now he has this. Bear is deceased as of this last October. Less than a year he's been gone. And I'd probably be a little bit more remorseful and have gone into a little bit more of a thing if I hadn't actually adopted another cat in February of this year, which was totally accidental, unintentional. In fact, it was against my decision not to do such a thing. But I ended up doing this, and so I actually have a cat. But we'll talk more about that later. Her name is Scruffy. I thought she was a boy, so I named her Scruffy. She was like, oh, you're a girl. Well, you're Scruffy the girl. Scruffy the boy sounded more appropriate. Little Children Limbo. I think I know what I'm going to say with that one. Bernie for Secretary of State, and Buttigieg for Chief of Staff. Remember, I was actually writing when I was supporting these guys. Writing poems. I was trying to figure out some stuff. So I've got some political. This is the beginning of my political poetry. This is the very, very, very beginning of it. All men are women. Okay. Tariffs are taxes. I have been trying to tell people that for how many years now? 7, 8 years I've been trying to explain that to people. America is so dumb. I mean, no offense. I'm just stating a fact. America is really, really stupid. But I think the whole world is really stupid. I think there's countries that are even dumber than us, to be honest with you. But fortunately, I don't want to go prove that I'm right on that one. If they're dumber, I'll let them be dumb wherever they are. But anyway, it's bad enough dealing with all how stupid our country is and how many dumb people are in our country. Now, if we were immigrating only dumb people, then maybe I'd be more against immigration. Okay, here we go. Where were we? Oh, yeah, we're doing the political one. Tariffs or taxes. Americans support Satan's brother. Oh, my goodness. I don't even know for sure, but is Satan's brother named DJ? Let's find out. Okay, and then I'm turning Chinese. That's cute. This one is cute. I remember I always liked this. I thought this could be a song, and I don't think I've ever turned it into a song. There's a similar song called I think I'm turning Japanese. So I'm turning Chinese is to me a little, gives a little kudo to that. Try not to sound too much like it or make it too much like that, but I love that song. I'm turning Japanese. Bruce Lee killed Kung Fu. Total fact. America needs to wake up to that. As far as I know, I haven't met one person in America who knows that except for my deceased Kung Fu master. He was all pissed. In fact, one of the last thing I heard him say about Bruce Lee was, China's trying to rewrite history. They're making him into this big hero. That was when they put that statue of him in the harbor. That's when he said they're trying to rewrite history to make him a hero. Anyway, where we go? Where are we? I don't marry a girl with a dog, and I explain. I got good reasons for that. And Bruce Lee the sissy. I'm taunting now. Come here, Bruce. Republican war crimes, bio. Oh, this is a poetic bio, though, so it's kind of cool. I've written a couple of my bios in poetry, and I've always thought that I did a pretty good job. Is not the Tao. So I'm saying, okay, we'll get to that. A Buddha once said, and this is what I was making a movie. I was actually writing a screenplay movie. It's actually a rock opera with songs and music called A Story of the Original Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, which, as you know, I've got a kind of affinity for. 21 minutes. So anyway, but the point being is that I've got all these like little stories and things in my head. So this is an actual little incident, a little scene with Buddha talking to somebody 2,200 years ago or 500. Anyway, a long time ago. Where any problem can be prevented. Well, I want to know what that is now. Love and peace. Yeah. Well, I agree with it. I don't know what I said about it, but I agree already. Where were we? Okay, now, NOBLE. This is what do you call it? An acronym, which you create a word out of a bunch of initials. And so I'm looking forward. This will take a long time to explain, but it's really important. The word noble and golden are the two words that I use for an acronym in terms of becoming an incredible person. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of meaning. Well, I want to know what that is. Wounded patience. I can imagine what that is. I get plenty of that. Four Noble Truths intro. Didn't we have a Four Noble Truths something else earlier? Anyway, yeah. Maybe remember the part one or something? Anyway, and then it looks like there's something I wrote about the original Buddhism, something I wrote about the next Four Noble Truths Explained book. So this series is called Four Noble Truths Explained. And then there's book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About the original Buddha. And then the last thing, it says, can you find me? Usually it says about the author. I amused myself. Okay, so I'm probably the most important reader I've got. So in terms of reading, most consistent fan. So good. I got to at least amuse myself. And I'm succeeding. All right, so I hope you like my book. Get out of here. This is Buddha Z signing off from the Buddha Z Explained podcast. Oh, look at that. See, remember I told you I always clap after I do that. So I'm used to doing that.